at the show. Parking up wasn't too bad. Getting in was easy. Let's find the entrance and go in and have some fun and see some tractors. So here I am walking into the beloved Cowpie Country Show, born in 1980 as the Surrey Young Farmers Rally at an open day at Poleston Lacey, later moving to Blindley Heath and growing in today's big event. That's made it in through the turnstiles. Yeah, easy entry fee, 16 quid for an adult, which is fantastic value for money. There's a number of different food stands here, as it was way too hot to cook in the van last night and this morning. I think I might grab myself a burger or some Punjab and Indian street food. Unfortunately, the last couple of years the show's been cancelled due to bad weather, but that certainly isn't the case today. It is absolutely scorching. The weird name Cowpie comes from the real cowpats they used to collect and throw at each other in contests. This year's show, held at Blue Anchor Farm at Blindley Heath, is run by the Surrey Young Farmers and raises money for their charity. The gates have literally just opened at 10 o'clock and a full day of fun lies ahead. Today's lineup includes vintage tractors, farm machinery demos, classic vehicle displays and the heart-stopping Wall of Death stunt show, which we'll cover later on. Over in the countryside arena there'll be some gun dog demos, birds of prey displays and some sheep races, including the Lamb National. And here's a brilliant example of a Ford TW35 tractor. When I was a kid growing up I had a Ford TW20 in my toy farm and always wanted a Ford TW. Gorgeous piece of kit. Reptile talks and even donkey rides. There's a packed food and craft marquee, a charming punch and judy show, animal petting corners and fun for the whole family. The smells of farms and foods and the chatter of excited crowds and that classic country show buzz. Let's get moving.
A few minutes later.
With Echo four-wheel drive. It's just so lovely to see them working and running around. You'll see an advert on the back of one of them, Capability Show, 4, 5, 6 of July. That's in Capel, near Dorking. Capel, near Dorking. Oh, we've got a Jeep going round. That's not a Willys Jeep. It's a Phil Jeep. This is the more traditional Jeep with Betty written on it. Traditional Massey 35. I'm going to hand over to Anthony, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the old tractors, because he's very much more an expert on those Massey Fergusons and Fordsons than I am. So I'm handing over to Anthony here and now.
Thank you, Colin. Good morning, everyone. Hope you can hear me okay. Welcome to Cowpie Show. We've just now got our vintage tractor and vehicle parade. We've got a nice mixture of tractors, commercials, horticultural tractors, a bit of everything. So now we've got a few in the ring. We'll start picking out a few tractors, then we'll probably move on to some military stuff. We'll try and also talk to some of the owners and they can tell you a little bit about them themselves, how long they've had them, etc. And what they like doing. So yeah, we should hopefully, we've got just about half hour, so we'll try and see if we can get through as many as we can. So what we'll do here, we'll start with Graham Cook's tractor here, this orange and yellow sort of combination just in front here. This is what we call like an American prairie tractor, so you notice it's got quite big back wheels. We'll get Graham in the middle, he can tell you a little bit more about it. But it's a Case 400. So 4-cylinder, diesel engine there. Again, very good for pulling like a lot of drawbar work. So you've got the big tyres, the heavy weights in the wheels, big cultivation inputs that would have towed in America, a lot bigger fields. Nice tractor there. So following Graham, we've got a David Brown 1210. This is also one of Graham Cook's tractors. David Brown will again another popular make manufacturer. The 1210 was just one particular model. They did pretty hundreds of different size tractors. 1210's pretty all round a bit. Diesel engine up front there, 3-point linkage on the back. So when I say 3-point linkage, you've got the 2 link arms at the bottom, the top link point there, which is in the 3rd hitch point, and then you can lift and lower the implement in at the ground. Cab on there as well. This is an ongoing restoration. So yeah, Graham's a big collector from Gosden. And yeah, thank you, Graham, for bringing your 2 tractors for us to enjoy today. So following the David Brown, we've got a Ford TW35, a 6-cylinder diesel tractor there, a little bit bigger, 1980s sort of era. You can see how the from sort of the earlier tracks in front, how the sides are.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
And here we have the John Deere 6M155, a lovely, lovely tractor, amazing piece of kit, very, very expensive. Again, too big to go on our farm and it wouldn't go through the gates. And here we have the John Deere 6R250, even bigger than the tractor we just sent sitting next to it. Amazing. Why, oh, why, oh, why can't we get one of these on our farm, or simply make our gates bigger so we can get it onto the property? Super, super piece of kit.
12 seconds later.
I really do need to add a beef heifer to our inventory at the farm at some point in the future. Just this one cow alone would keep us in beef for an entire year. But you've got burgers, roast beef, beef rib, the lot. You name it, dinner for a year on a plate. However, before we add a cow to the farm, we are planning to get some pigs and put them in a place called Pigwood, but we just need to get the fencing done. Again, sausages and pork, yum yum.
20 minutes later.
So that's in the vintage tractors. Let's get some modern tractors moving. Here we go.
The first machine coming in is a John Deere, and he's lowering it to show you how this rakes up. This is for drying hay on the ground that may have got wet in the rain or something, and it stirs it up. You gonna do this? Well, I've got my mate here, Harry Durrant, who's given commentary on these vehicles before. He knows so very much more about them than I do. So without any more ado, I'm going to welcome Harry Durrant to tell you all about this lovely machinery that's coming into the main ring for you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, good morning everybody, hopefully you can hear. So welcome on this very glorious day. We have got an amazing display today of all different brands, all different types of machinery, bale packers, rakes, tethers, cultivators and bale wrappers. So if we start with the bale wrapper, perhaps not everyone will know exactly what that is, so it's just come into the ring now. It's on the back of the case, which is the red tractor I'm pointing out over on the left hand side. So on the back of there is a McHale wrapper. So what does a wrapper do? Which has been made and formed into a bale shape, so they're easy to handle. And as you can see now, it's got an orbital head, which is wrapping the bale. And what that does is it preserves the seed for the winter months, and it starts the fermentation process. So essentially, it ensures that we have fresh seed for the winter months, when obviously the grass, haylage and silage can't be grown, so it has to be stored so it can be fed fresh, to have the highest possible nutritional value throughout the winter months. So if we go forward, so in front of that case tractor, there's a Fendt which has kindly been bought over by Crawford's, I believe. So the Fendt is one of the premium brands of tractors available on the market. This particular one is around 150 horsepower and has a Vario transmission. What that really means is it's fully automatic and can go from 0 kilometres an hour.
With the display of modern farm machinery complete, it was time for the Jamie Squibb Freestyle Motocross display. Here we go, hold tight, hold on to your hats. These guys are going to get airborne very, very soon.
Alright, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the Cowpie Show. We're the Squibb Freestyle Motocross team. I'm joined today by Chris Brock. He's your man over there. In the red and white gear on that black 450cc. I'm on this green 450cc Kawasaki. Then this is the takeoff ramp. 21.5 metres, 70 feet away. We've got, again, putting those wheels down right at the very top. That's where you want to land. So we're just going to get warmed up. A lot of these tricks cost over in the early days. So there's Chris with the no-hander. And as the bikes and the ramps developed in freestyle, it kind of went off in its own direction. So you saw the can-can. We're going to do the can-can both sides now. This is the pendulum. There you are, that's the pendulum. So as we get going, the tricks will get more difficult and more spectacular. Oh, look at that, old school Superman. Right, I'm going to try and up that. I'm going to try and do that Superman no-handed. Very technical trick. There it is, just getting back on that bike. Feet touching the pegs as the wheels touch down. And there, look at that, big seat grab Indian Air. We modified the seats and the subframes on these bikes so we can get our hands in under there and catch hold of the bike. And that's the knack-knack. If there's any motocross fans out there, you'll know the name Jeremy McGrath, the king of Supercross. Look at that, huge Indian Air. Okay, so we're going to hit this ramp, switchblade. That's the switchblade. Getting up nice and high. You see that front end dips in as I come over the knuckle into land, so that's not too bad. Right, second jump. I'm going to do another whip. I'm going to try and be even more aggressive with this one. I'm going to come into the ramp a little bit slower so I can try and crank it a bit harder. That's better. There's the whip. That's the no-handed backflip. The coffee was strong this morning. That's not bad, that's the Indian Air. That was pretty close. I'm going to try and get a little bit closer on this one. Just make sure these bikes are in second gear. This is going to be the double grab. There you go, that's the double grab. Alright guys, this is going to be our final jump. We're going to do a trick of our choice. So whatever we want to do. So give it a massive cheer as we hit this ramp. And we finish with another backflip. That's going to be the conclusion of our first show.
12 seconds later.
That's a freestyle motocross out of the way. Let's go and have a look at the Wall of Death. Motorcycle racing in the absolute extreme. The Wall of Death has been thrilling crowds for over a century. First appearing in the early 1900s in the USA, these vertical motorcycle shows quickly became a travelling sensation across the world, and they've been blowing minds ever since. Inside a giant wooden cylinder, riders climb the vertical wall using nothing but centrifugal force and fearless skill. It's fast, it's loud, and it's going to look like pure magic. What you're about to see isn't a trick. These daredevils are riding real vintage motorcycles, often from the 1920s or 30s, just inches from the crowd. They perform stunts with no helmets, no harnesses, and sometimes no hands. The G-force pins them to the wall as they spin faster and higher, riding sideways at speeds that will defy logic. It's one part skill, one part madness, and all heart-pounding entertainment. This, ladies and gentlemen, is more than just a show. It's a piece of living motor history, and it's just as jaw-dropping today as it was 100 years ago.
And in this first act, with a demonstration of how we test these walls, from Sumatra, Indonesia, is Miss Camilla Persa.
And now for the show finale, the Hell Riders race, where there'll be 3 riders on the wall, all at any one time. Let's duck and hope it all goes okay.
Owing to the dangerous nature of this performance, so far, no insurance company will insure the riders on these tracks against injury or serious accident. Therefore, the management have kindly allowed us to start up an accident fund of our own. If you have appreciated arriving and would care to help towards this fund, you may do so by dropping any donation you wish onto the floor below. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. Thank you. If you have enjoyed this show, please recommend it to your friends. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. Thank you. Once again, if you've enjoyed this show, please recommend it to your friends. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. Thank you. The rights are very grateful for any and all donations. Thank you. Thank you.
Just before I headed home, I decided to watch one of the falconry displays. Earlier in the day we'd seen a gigantic bird of prey circling the main arena. It turned out that this was an escaped bird of prey from the earlier display. The owner explained that the bird was last seen heading towards Edenbridge and he had a GPS tracker on it and he was going to head over to the town later on that day after the show to try and track it. Unfortunately, things didn't seem to go well in this show either, as another bird flew away and landed in a tree some distance away. Whether or not he caught that, I don't know. But here's some of the falconry display that I saw before I left.
Region, so there's not much in the way of tall trees. So as I said earlier, they hunt or they stand on cacti. Now if they need to gain height, they will stand on each other's shoulders to do so. And they will work together to look or give good vantage point to find that prey. Now the females being up to a third larger than males, with all birds of prey really, they will be up high as possible, looking for food or waiting. Whilst the males do all the legwork, they'll be on the ground looking for that prey. We're going to call him over and see if we can do it. We'll get him down on the floor. Good boy. Boy. So what they'll do is they'll rummage through the bushes like that, flush out a rabbit, and when that goes out, the females will shoot down as speeds of 40 miles an hour. Now, the way they communicate with each other to tell them, or tell each other they found or spotted some prey, is they'll use that tail. She's over there, Phoenix. She says, I know, but it's windy. Do you want to come up here? So they'll use that tail of theirs. When they found at 45 miles an hour, 40-ish. The guy earlier was a lot more honest than you, Josh. Now, I'm not going to be that nasty. He's up there waiting for something, and I have to stand up again. It's not you. I've got a dummy bunny here, or legless as we like to call him, and you're actually going to run with this. Does that make you feel a bit better? You say yes, but your face says otherwise. Alright, so you take that handle for me, John. Now, in a minute, as I say, we're going to count down for stuff right now. Right, audience, are we ready? Yeah! I think you can do better. I said, are we ready? Yeah! You're cheating. No. Thank you. I want you...
So I'm done here. I'm going to head back to the van. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed seeing the farm machinery. My name's Matt, I'm on the move, and I'll see you on my next adventure. Bye for now.